too um Hollywood. It was just too uh extra, I think is the word, and not as simplistic. And I think, granted, it's the same people behind it that brought you the original, but I think they're going for a new modern. What's up, everyone? Okay, the big, long-awaited trailer has dropped for 28 years later. Now, first of all, I wanted them to do 28 months later. Would have fit nicely after 28 days, weeks, months would fit nicely, but we jumped 28 years later. So the trailer's out, the poster's out. We know we have an idea what's going to happen when it releases this summer of 2025. Now, what are my initial thoughts on this trailer? I'm kind of disappointed. Okay, so there's some good about this. I'm going to break down the good and the bad about it and then my overall thoughts. So let's go with the good. Okay, I love that Alex Garland and Danny Boyle are back. It adds the original minds who were behind the first movie, which was better than the second. I think we all can agree on that. The second wasn't bad, but the first one was supreme. So the people behind the first one are back in their same roles here. So Danny Boyle, Alex Garland, they earned our trust, right? Uh, in this franchise. Good news. Uh, More good news is I like the cast here, the main cast. Ralph Fiennes, terrific actor. Jodie Comer, also really good actress. And Aaron Taylor Johnson, also someone that's potentially the next Bond, making a name for himself. On that almost upper tier of now entering the A list of actors. Cast is cool here. Now, okay, so those are the big goods here with the trailer. Now, what I didn't like about this trailer. Okay, one more thing I did like, actually, the Teletubbies thing. The first thing we see is kids in a room watching Teletubbies, which makes me think like, what are we, late 90s, early 2000s here that this is taking place? But that's 28 years later, so that would almost make it seem like the first one took place in what, the 70s or so? I mean, granted, once zombies took over, probably television production isn't happening, but how far back are we going here to the Teletubbies? This is 28 years later, not weeks or months, okay? So there had to have been something being created or something more further on than Teletubbies, right? For the kids to watch that was made into the world. Okay, besides my point. Um, what I didn't like, obviously, the big reveal here is we see Jim in the form of a zombie. Okay, his skeleton carcass, half zombie, half human version of him. We see it rise in the trailer. It was cool, but I don't like that they revealed it in a trailer. So it's something that'll hype you up momentarily, like, oh wow, it's the original guy. It's Jim, aka Kieran Murphy. Um, I call him Cillian Murphy. Whatever. It's a whole other debate. But okay, so there's an homage and a thing that ties it back to the first one. But why give it away? Let that be a surprise for us when we go to see this in a movie theater. This is not a make or break thing, that reveal that would get people like, oh yeah, I'm going to see it now. It's more of a, damn, I wish they saved it for the movie because that might be one of the better surprises that they gave it away. Not a fan of that. Um, Also, I didn't like the vibe that the trailer gave in the sense of what made 28 days and 28 weeks later so good. That was so simplistic, right? It was set in this world, um, everyday world, it just felt very in a countryside. The first movie, a little bit about the same with the second one. There were more so in London there than the countrysides, but it made it simplistic. This world seems get it. I get it's 28 years later, but it just doesn't feel as simple. I think that's what made it so creepy. It's like the zombies were taking over all these, quiet villages, right? And in the UK, which was really cool and fun about that because it was so quiet and peaceful, these neighborhoods, and bam, come the zombies at you. This one feels more to me like a mishmash based on the trailer of The Purge and World War Z. That's the sort of vibe I'm getting. It's more of a movie that seems, instead of a sort of a dystopian world, it seems more like an action flick, which wasn't really the original's premise. It wasn't really an action movie. It was a really good simple horror that scared the shit out of you because of how nuanced and quiet is the word it was that movie was, and by that it describes a lot of things. It wasn't very visually startling or anything. It was just a subtle movie with very scary things happening, and that's what made it so creepy. This one, it seems like they're going for the scares. They're almost planting the scares. What made the originals good is that it wasn't going for a scare. It scared you based on the story and the setting of what was going on. Here, from this trailer, everyone's got these machine guns, and it just feels more like a Walking Dead sort of, movie with, if you blend it in, The Purge, Walking Dead, World War Z, some of these movies like that. I feel like this is sort of what you're getting here with this movie, which is sort of a premise we've seen. What made the original good was that it was unique in its kind. It didn't really steal tropes or anything like that from other zombie movies. It just kept things very simple and pure. And I feel like this one is too Hollywood, and that's what comes through the trailer, is that it's too much action packed. There's some cool visuals. The skull is sort of, the skull monument, basically, of a bunch of skulls on stacked up on top of each other, was sort of cool. Ralph Fiennes, we see him briefly with that red, I don't know if it's blood on his face or if it's paint, but sort of, you see that it's a startling image there. But I just didn't like the feel and the vibe of what the trailer was. It was just too much. It was too um Hollywood. It was just too uh extra, I think is the word, and not as simplistic. And I think, granted, it's the same people behind it that brought you the original, but I think they're going for a new modern feel to it, and I think that might change how this movie really is. So it will be interesting to see what it ends up happening. I could be completely off, but the trailer, it was exciting to see that this movie's coming out, but it left a lot to be desired. And I was hoping for the tone and the feel and the vibe of it to be very similar to the first one, especially since you have Danny Boyle and Alex Garland back. And I just didn't get that feel. The one thing I kind of liked in that trailer that was spooky was that voice in the background, that voiceover, like 4, 11, 7, 6, that countdown. Voice that was chilling and creepy. I liked that. I don't know what it was, what it consisted of. It's sort of a countdown, maybe some kind of a radio countdown that we might see for like one quick scene. But the way they blended it into this trailer, I liked it because it gave this sort of brooding and dystopian feel to it. So I thought that was well done. I'll add that as another positive. But overall, just the vibe didn't feel right. Didn't feel like part of this franchise. I feel like it's modernized, and you get that they do that with a lot of movies. Obviously, it's been a while since the first one, right? That was early 2000s. So we're now at 2024. So probably, going on 20 years almost, at least, that the first one came out. So we'll see. It left a lot to be desired. I'll say that. But what are your thoughts on it? Did you like the trailer? Did you get into it? Did it feel like the first or second movie to you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. And in the meantime, make sure to subscribe so I can do these things. So when you subscribe, it's a good thing. And if you like this, give it a thumbs up, give that like. That also helps. So let's see what happens. Okay, maybe there's going to be another trailer prior. Probably is. They're going to do a second trailer too. So we'll see. But the first one, if I had to give a grade for the trailer, I'd give it a C plus. C plus. I was expecting like B plus, A minus, or A even here. It didn't get me that hyped up in for the movie, so I wish it did. But C plus is my grade for it. But let me know your thoughts, like I said, in the comment section, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya.